You're watching The Whole Living Show on Trajectory TV.
Operate out of your dreams and your vision and not other people's expectation. Having breast cancer wasn't my choice, but the decision to live healthy so that I could stand before you here today, that's choice. You can choose this very moment to change your life from every perspective.
Tracy Randolph was our speaker. She came back because so many people liked her first presentation. I was one of those people that joined her fitness group, and it made me a better leader.
I grew up in a community, but they had limiting beliefs on what a little black girl could do. Everything that you do in this life is a choice. I choose to live healthy. I choose to change my mindset. I choose to be everything that I dreamed of because I choose faith and I choose me. Live healthy, be everything that you can be today. Choose yourself.
Five years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, two teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Whole Living Show. And as usual, I have an amazing guest waiting backstage. And I'm super excited because I met this beautiful woman here in Charlotte, North Carolina at a gym event. And immediately she sparked something in me, right? And I was like, I have to connect with her and I have to go see her. And I'm not going to give it away yet. So you don't even know what I'm talking about just yet, but I'm going to let you know. But first, I wanted to talk to you all about things that are banned in other countries that are not banned in the United States. So previously, I've talked about a lot of the ingredients that are in our foods, particularly the color dyes, some of the chemicals, the softening agents, the preservatives. And I won't give you the list of them now, but you will be able to find them on the show page that are banned outside of the United States, particularly in Europe. Well, I was just looking at another article, two, in fact, one that talked about cell phones and the banning of the iPhone 12 in France because of the radiation emission. So now they're discussing the concern of this one model in particular. So I would hope, and I'm going to do some more research on that and come back to you all. I would hope that with iPhone 13 and 14 and even 15, that they have corrected some of the things that are harmful to our bodies when it comes to radiation emission. But we do know that these devices, and I'm going to show you mine because it's very close to me right now, but that these devices hold a lot of radiation. They are emitting a lot of radiation, and we are absorbing that radiation. So I want you to start taking a look at some of the items that are out there that are banned in other countries. The other one that I wanted to mention, because I know this has been mentioned a lot on social media, mentioned a lot in the news, is that Ozempic now is also banned in other countries. So I want you to think about and have conversations with your medical practitioners about your use of Ozempic, particularly if you are using it just for weight loss. And listen, I'm not here to knock any practice or anybody's method or modality of how you choose to live your life and what you choose to do to assist yourself in certain areas. I'm just here to give information. So I want to make that clear as well, because I think that you should discuss these things with your medical practitioners, with your holistic practitioners, in order to understand the effects to your body. And everybody's situation is different. You know, medical care, holistic care is individualized. So think about your body, how your body operates, speak with your doctors, and go out there and get information that you need that's going to be able to help you before you decide to take any type of medication or anything that's over the counter. But I wanted you to be aware that Ozempic in particular, and with the iPhones, there's a lot of radiation emission, and Ozempic as well is now banned in Europe. So just get the right information. That's what I'm here to tell you. You know, I'm not here to judge, and I'm not a medical practitioner myself. So I'm not here to tell you that you should or shouldn't take it. I'm here to tell you, go out there and seek the knowledge that you need and understand how your body operates alongside your medical practitioner, and get the information that you need. And then you start to take the medication or whatever it is over the counter. So I just wanted to mention that. And I'm glad that I had that subject here today, because we actually have a medical practitioner here today. We have a doctor in the house, everyone. So before I bring her in, I want to introduce her. And as I said, we met at a gym event. Dr. Deja Ledbetter. She is absolutely amazing. She is a chiropractor and became a chiropractor to help people of all ages while educating them on the unlimited potential of healing. And I love that she says healing. And I'm going to tell you like how our first conversation went, and I was blown away. And I was like, I'm in, sign me up. I got to be there. I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. But she, like I said, is focused on the unlimited potential of healing that it can have on your body, and properly having a properly functioning nervous system. Her passion started when she was sitting in a new patient appointment with her mother and was unaware of what chiropractic was and the possibilities of care when you applied it specifically. And we're going to get into that with her, because I think sometimes we think about chiropractic practices as, you know, you hurt your back and you have to go to the chiropractor. Well, no, you are in store for some really good information. And I think she's going to blow your mind when she starts to tell you what this is really all about. She enrolled herself at Mary Baldwin College with her sights on going to med school. But after a while, Dr. Deja realized that the conventional medical approach didn't align with her views on what healthcare was to her. So she moved back to the beautiful North Carolina, and I'm so glad that she did, from Virginia, and now has a practice here in Matthews, North Carolina, called Numa Wellness Center. Dr. Deja was fascinated by the fact that every day as a chiropractor, she gets to work alongside people and help them become better physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And if you looked at the title of this show, it's called Get and Stay Aligned. And I love that she has this here, that she talks about the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual, because that's what alignment is all about. And Dr. Deja is focused on all three. So we're going to bring her in. We are not going to prolong this at all. I want you to have the opportunity to see this amazing woman and all that she has to share and offer. Hello, Dr. Deja.
Hey, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
I am doing lovely. I'm cheesing hard back here while you're giving me this whole workup. I'm like, goodness gracious.
Well, it's no secret. And if you didn't know before, you know now that I absolutely love you. I love what you
Oh,
do.
love you
I
too.
love everything about your practice. So I'm going to dote on her for a moment, you guys, because soon as you walk in her office, right, the energy is absolutely amazing. And you guys have heard me talk about energy before. Energy means everything, right? If you don't have the correct energy flow, it is really hard to be healthy. So you walk into her office and automatically your energy is raised. You could be at a 6, you're going to go up to a 9 or a 10 once you walk into the office, because the atmosphere is amazing. It's clean, it looks good, it smells good, there's music playing, right? Feel good music, right, to the spirit. And Dr. Deja greets you with a smile, right? So, you just come in and you can feel the energy and the love. So you know that you're going to get great care, because as soon as you walk in the door, that's what you feel. So I wanted to mention that. But I want to talk about, to get started, first, let us hear from you, how you really decided to get started. We gave a little bit of the story via you going to
Yeah,
the office with your mother, but give us a little bit more about how that all came about.
absolutely. So kind of as you were saying, growing up, I would always say, love you too, Philip. And Amber, and children. But growing up would always say like, I always wanted to be a doctor. Like, I want to be a doctor. And, that's what I wanted for Christmas. I wanted like stethoscopes and I wanted like nurse stuff. I don't want the fake stuff. I wanted the real stuff. Like, that was my request. So I went in that journey thinking that, I'm going to be able to help people from this perspective by going into the medical field. And I pursued that. Went to college at Mary Baldwin in Stanton, Virginia, which is a private school. And I was going through it and it just didn't work for me. Like, no matter how hard I tried, it wasn't clicking.
Yeah.
So I came back home after trying to do that for a year and was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not supposed to be a doctor.
Mhm.
Maybe that's something that children say to appease their parents. Maybe it's just something that, society puts on. It's got to be a doctor or a
Mhm.
lawyer or
Mhm.
astronaut or, those big things. So I came back and was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. Got into childcare, love kids, got into childcare. And my mom ended up having a really bad case of sciatica. Now, before then, I knew nothing about chiropractic. I thought you only went to a chiropractor because your back was blown out or if you were in a car accident. And
Mhm.
that was like the overall knowledge of it, which I could say is majority of society,
Yeah.
because we as chiropractors haven't done a great job as educating the importance of spinal alignment and spinal health, right?
Yeah.
So I see my mom in this debilitated state. She's tried the medicine, she's tried the shots, she's tried all these things. And a friend from church was like, you should go to a chiropractor. They're my doctor for everything. And I
Mhm.
remember hearing that comment. I was like, what's she talking about? Like, and I just kind of, shoot it, not thinking too much of it.
Yeah.
My mom goes to the first appointment and I see the difference. I see that she's no longer laying on the floor with her back up, her
Mhm.
feet up on the wall to be able to relieve pressure from her back. I see her lifting and moving. Before, she was crawling up the steps. And I remember going into this office and a young doctor educated me on the importance of the power within the body to be able to heal.
Yeah.
And if we look at the number one cause of death, we're looking at overdose within medications or wrong prescribed prescriptions that
Mhm.
people are taking. And that was like number one killer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we have this whole healthcare model that we fill billions and billions of dollars in, but we're almost dead last in health within the nation.
Yeah.
So something is wrong, something is missing.
Yeah.
And she explained it and she talked about how the nerves within the spine, they supply every single organ in our body. They
Mhm.
cause our heart to beat, they cause our lungs to move, they cause our stomach to digest, they allow our uterus or our prostate to do the function that it's supposed to do without us even thinking about it. This is how amazing God created the body, right? Without
Yes.
even thinking, it automatically does what it's supposed to do. And it was like the biggest aha moment in my life. I was
Mhm.
like, this is the doctor I'm supposed to be. Like,
Yeah.
this is it. Like, this is healthcare. And
Yeah.
I remember 3 months later, I like told everyone I was moving to Iowa. They were like, Idaho, Ohio, like, no, Iowa. Never have left the Midwest. I mean, the East Coast whatsoever. This was my
Yeah.
first time in the Midwest, and the journey started in 2011. And it was it was the best decision that I had ever made, because there's
Yeah.
not a day that I go by that that I'm not in a posture of gratitude to be
Yeah.
able to do what I'm able to do, to help
Yeah.
people, to educate people on the power that's within the body to heal, you
Yeah.
know, to give people hope that feel like they're supposed to live like this for the rest of their life. They're supposed to have vertigo. They're supposed to not be able to bear children. They're supposed to have irregular cycles. They're supposed to have IBS and acid reflux and
Mhm.
back pain and sciatica and all these things, which is a lie. It
Yeah.
is a lie. And we have believed.
And I'm sorry, I can't hear you any longer.
You
There we
heard?
go. This is getting too good. Look, the devil is a lie.
Amen.
It's getting
VP.
too good. And this is information that people need to hear.
Right. What was the last thing that you heard by chance?
So you were talking about how it's a lie,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
it's a lie, that you're supposed to be in pain. That's
yeah,
not how God created us. That's
yeah.
not your portion. We have the most amazing healing potential within our body. We get a cut. It's not the Band-Aid. It's not
Mhm.
the Neosporin.
Right.
It's not the washing that heals it. It's the healing potential within the body. And
Yeah,
all I do as a chiropractor is remove the interference from the nerve so the body can be able to heal like it was designed to do. And I see it time and time again. And it's honestly just such a blessing to be
yeah.
able to see it. I love it. I love
And
it. I love it.
I want to show so you definitely are operating in your purpose, in your calling, for sure. You can see it, it exudes from you. But I want to show people something because of what you just explained. So yes, here I am. I'm the guinea pig, you guys. I'm going to show my pictures. Um,
Uh-huh.
because I was super excited about this and I just want everybody to see it. And I want to
Mm.
mention something even more practical than just the spine itself and the correction that's happening there. I
Yeah.
want to show people this picture because of, remember you said to me, there's gas like in my
Yeah.
body, right? That
Yeah.
was building up.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you
Yeah.
guys can see this, so actually this picture where I am right now, and I don't, StreamYard is a little different with right to left. So it's to my right. So hopefully you can see it. It might be to the audience's left, but you can see this picture here that's clogged up clearly. You
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
see where I'm clogged up. You can see this after photo here, right? Not only you can
Yeah.
see my spine is corrected here, like it's being corrected here. And how long has it been,
Yeah.
Dr. Deja? It hasn't even been that long.
No, like I want to say like 16 adjustments, 17 adjustments.
Yeah, yeah. And look at this, you guys. Look at how my spine is more aligned than it was
Mhm.
before, a lot more aligned. But look how clear I am. Like
Yeah.
this, it
Yeah.
blew my mind. Like I was excited when we did this. The second X-ray because
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
were
oh
awesome.
my God, yes, look at this. I mean, this is what Dr. Deja is talking about here, about how the body has the power to heal if you treat it properly and if you do what you're
Yeah.
supposed to. I can remember coming to your office for the first visit and what Dr. Deja does so that you understand what's going to happen throughout the course of your journey with her is how the
Yeah.
body works first. That's what you went through. My mind was
Yeah.
blown just from that, you know? Because when you're in school, right? When we're in school, you learn
Yeah.
that the spine does that, but not to the level of detail that you mentioned it, right? And it's
Mhm.
not something that you keep on your mind, right? It's not an everyday thing. It's not
Right.
something you think about. And because of what you explained before, where we're just prone in society to think that a chiropractor is just for the purpose of when you fall, you get into a car
Right.
accident, right? So we don't know that this is for everyday wellness.
Literally
Yeah.
everyday wellness.
Yeah. And when you think about, the spine, and this is my version of
I love
Dr.
it.
Deja
Go ahead.
giving me
Educate
information,
us.
right?
Yeah.
This
I
is,
love it.
and correct me at any point, right? But this is just my version, and what blew my mind is for you to say, well, if your spine is aligned and your spine can send the signals to the other organs in your body so that those organs can function properly. I'm like, this is a no-brainer for me to
Yeah.
do this, right? It's just a
Yeah.
no-brainer. And listen, talk about that a little bit more, like how the
Yeah.
body functions in that manner, and how this is, to me, right? And I'm going to say this,
Yeah.
it's like number one on the list here for
Right.
wellness care, and I'm putting it as wellness care instead of
Absolutely.
saying, yeah. So talk about that a
Absolutely.
little bit more.
I wish I would have. I have the picture pulled up, and I don't know if there's a way that I could share it or not. But there's this picture of the spine, and within the spine, you have like a bunch of vertebrae, right? And you have your cervical vertebrae, which are in your neck. So that's like C1 to C7. Then you have like your torso, which is like T1 to T12. Then you have your lower back lumbar, which is L1 to L5. Then you have your sacrum, which is your tailbone. Now, every single one of these bones have nerves that are going to come out from the side of these bones. And I'll just kind of like go through some of like the big hitters, right? So if people have pressure within their C1 or C2, that very top bone, they'll
Mhm.
experience things like headaches, migraines,
Mhm.
dizziness, sinus problems, because that's right next to the blood vessels that supply the ears, that supply
Mhm.
the scalp, that supply the neck. Okay. And what people come in with like migraines and things like that, and they're taking Tylenol, they're taking the heavy duty medications for migraines, and it's a simple adjustment within the neck that can relieve that.
Yeah.
We go down to our T1, T2, our upper back area. That's going to supply our hands. So a lot of people have numbness in their hands. It's not normal for
Mhm.
numbness to be in your hands. Okay. That's
Mhm.
not normal.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
happens is when that pressure gets on that nerve, it causes that nerve to send this signal of dysfunction. So that signal of dysfunction can be a tingling, a numbness sensation, a burning, a radiating, a stabbing, a shooting, a
Wow.
aching, a throbbing sensation. It all varies just depending on how much pressure is on the nerve, right? So that can express in different ways with numbness in your hands, pain in your hands, also in your T1, T2 that supplies your heart, right? So you
Mm.
can have like high blood pressure if there's pressure on that nerve causing that nerve signal to speed up. Or you can
Mm.
have low blood pressure, or you go a little bit lower, T3, T4, that's going to supply your lungs. So asthma, not childhood asthma that we might have been born with, but like adult asthma that just comes out of nowhere.
Mhm.
Like what that doesn't make sense. How can I
Mhm.
just become 30 or 25 and now I have asthma and I didn't have it before? Then it
Yeah.
makes you think like, okay, what pressure is on that nerve that's coming out from the side of that T4 bone? That's going to give you a bad signal to your lungs that's going to make you feel like you can't breathe all the
Yeah.
way. You can't exhale all the way out. A lot of people say that when they get adjusted, a lot of times they're like, oh my gosh, I can breathe better.
Mhm.
Like I thought I was breathing good, but after a while, like, oh wow, like after that adjustment, I feel like I can breathe better. I mean, we
Yeah.
go lower into T11 and T12, that supplies our intestines. If you're not having a bowel movement every day, at least, that is not normal.
Mhm. Mhm.
Society thinks it's normal. It's not normal. There's pressure within that area from T11 to T12, that lower upper mid back area. And
Yeah.
that's why sometimes when people have like constipation, they'll feel pain in that area because it's pressure on that nerve. So
Mm.
all these things that can happen, your sacrum, infertility. We've had so many women within the clinic that are no longer infertile and are having kids, and that's
Yeah.
been their desire,
Yeah.
just from getting pressure off of that nerve that supplies the sacrum, from the sacrum that supplies the uterus and the ovaries. So
Yeah.
when you remove the pressure, your body is able to send the signal down from the spinal cord, from the brain, down the spinal cord, out to those nerves that supply those organs, right? You think about the first ultrasound that you see of a child, all you see is a little circle and a wiggly line.
Mhm.
That's the nervous system. That's
Mm.
the brain. That's the spinal cord. And
Wow.
from there, the brain sends information down the spinal cord that projects in little nerves that collect cells and tissues together to form the organs within
Wow.
our body, all on its own.
Okay, I gotta stop you right there because now you just blew my mind again, right? Putting this all into context again to think about
Yeah.
the fact that, okay, your spine and your brain are there first,
Yeah,
right?
first.
And they're building the body basically.
Like,
Oh,
come on.
I mean, come on. This is what makes this a no-brainer too, you guys, right?
Right.
If you are not going to a chiropractor, you need to go, you need to get the consultation. If you are here in the North Carolina area, you need to connect with Dr. Deja. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I want to give another testimony. First, I'm going to show some comments here. Thank you, Amber, for your comments. This was earlier. She was talking about that's the Holy Spirit when you walk into Dr. Deja's office. Absolutely. And then
Amen.
she says, how does that relate to what you're eating? I know a lot of
Mhm.
people think that if they just change how they're eating or lose weight, those issues will be fixed. So I'm going to let you answer that first before I give my testimony.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right. So we talked about that T11, T12, and that's going to supply the intestines to be able to do the job that it's supposed to do. Well, depending on how well that intestinal tract is doing its job, it's not going to be able to suck out the nutrients that it needs. So then you will not really be getting the benefit of the food that you're eating. And then on top of that, our body, the way God made our body, it's designed to burn fat, like how our hips are supposed to move, like how everything is supposed, it should be like a fat burning machine. That's why when people walk, they lose weight, right? Because now they're moving that, and you might not think, oh, what they're doing, but no, like they're moving their hips and it's designed to be able to lose weight just by the motion within the body and the pattern that God placed within it. Well, when you have a misalignment within your hip, you have a dysfunction. You're not going the up and down. It's more up one and one's down here. Then that allows us to carry more weight within our lower section area. Then we can add the hormonal things on top of that for women, right? Like if our hormones are out of place, your mid back, your lower back, lower mid back, like in the sway of your back, that L2, L3 area, that supplies the uterus, right? So if that has problems with it, those hormone imbalances are going to affect with losing weight. And it's all like a cycle that it literally just goes around. When there's misalignment, there's things that occur. And the goals of you like eating well and trying to do this but not dropping weight, there is something behind that, right? Like I'm eating everything I'm supposed to be, like I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Or you could be in a go 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 sympathetic fight or flight, that you feel like you're always up here, and the body was not designed to be like that. Because when you're in your sympathetic, which is your go go go, I see a bear, so when I see a bear, I'm gonna cut off my digestion because I don't need to worry about being digesting food. I need my heart to beat, I need my lungs to be able to breathe, and I need my eyes to be able to see where I'm running, right? But people get stuck in that state, so then our digestive tract never starts going, and we never get into the parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest. That's when the body heals itself. And that's when people are stuck in that sympathetic, that they'll find they have adrenal fatigue, because now you've been going on this little burst of energy that was only supposed to be for a little bit your whole entire life. And that's when it's bad news bears big time.
Yes, yes. Ooh, ooh,
That was
ooh.
a long explanation. I'm sorry.
No, that was an amazing explanation. And I was going to give my testimony, but I do want to talk about the other part of that, because you're talking about the food side of it. I love that
Yeah.
you explained that when it comes to, your spine sending the signals to your intestines, because that's where we absorb like 90% of our nutrients, right? It's a very high number. All of the nutrients are coming from our small intestines for the most part. So if it's clogged up, or if it's not getting the right signals and it can't release the
Right.
toxicity in order for the good stuff to come in,
Right
we're in
on.
trouble.
Big
We're in
time.
trouble. Yeah, I love that. So I got to give another testimony. So I'm going to
Yeah.
give my little story that you've already heard, right?
Uh-huh.
So when I used to live in New Jersey, everyone, I had a beautiful hairdresser, stylist, who used to tell me that, I switch like I have a big booty, which I don't have a big booty. I have a little booty, right? So lo and behold, until I went to Dr. Deja, I had no idea that I was misaligned, that my spine was not aligned, that my hips were not aligned. And that was the reason for I'm going to say the heavy switching, right? Which I did not know. I thought that that's just how I walked. And that's been my adult life. So I
Yeah.
had no idea. So you saw, I'm going to show it again. So you saw my picture here, right? You saw how unaligned. I mean, look at the one that's clogged up, right? You can see that this is not aligned. I mean, you can see here, this is off, right? My hips are off. So I had no idea that
Yeah.
that was the reason. Then when I started going to you and thinking about my cycles and
Yeah.
how horrible they have
Mm.
been from the time I was 12 when I got my menstrual cycle up until I started going
Wow.
to you. And now it's been so just to explain this to everybody and not to
Yeah.
be too graphic, right? I don't want to do TMI here, but
Yeah.
my
No, you're good.
flow has been heavy for like 10 to 14 days, right? This was
Mm.
prior to Dr. Deja. Let me just say that prior to Dr. Deja, and excruciating pain for a very long time, like the
Mm.
first 5 days. I'm down to 2 days of cramping. That's number one. So that's amazing. And the flow is not as heavy. And you heard Dr. Deja say that it's been like 16 or 17 adjustments. So
Yeah.
I'm in heaven right now because of it. Because I'm not suffering the way that I used to, right? It has been
Yeah.
decreased a lot. And I only expect as I continue to get adjusted that that's going to get even better. And I'm 52 years old, you guys, with
Looking
a
great.
yeah. But Dr.
Just
Deja
saying.
is getting me all the way together. So I'm going to be young forever because of it too.
Period.
Period. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Amber. Absolutely. So I wanted to give that testimony because I want people to understand like what happens when they
Yeah.
start to get chiropractic care.
Yeah.
And how it can really help you. And you got to think about Dr. Deja was describing the migraines earlier. I'm telling you about my cycle and how she has helped me. She has improved it. She didn't help me. She improved it. I didn't do anything but lay there.
You came.
Right.
That's step one. You came into the
Right.
office.
Right. And that's a good point too. So let's talk about that too. And why you do the outreach that you do, because we met at an event. But
Yeah.
talk about the importance of being open to getting that information and us having more exposure to what
Mhm.
chiropractors do so that people know more about it, because I don't think there's
Yeah.
enough out there.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, anytime when it matches up with my schedule and I can be out in the community to be able to educate
Yeah.
people on the power of healing within their body, I run for it. Like I go for it because it's so misrepresented. Thank you. Misrepresented within the overall healthcare system.
Mhm.
You know, there's research out there that says that you get better with chiropractic care, with sciatica, with high blood pressure and things. But there's a lot of doctors that still will tell you not to go to a chiropractor. We're not the first ones off of their lips when people come in with back pain or arthritis, because arthritis is just inflammation in the joint. Why is it inflammation in the joint? Because the bone is out of place. And now the joint is moving in an irregular way. Arthritis forms, then spurs form as time progresses. But just because you have arthritis or degenerative disc disease, that does not mean that you don't need to go to a chiropractor. That means you need to be running because you want to preserve the disc that you have. But the doctors, the medical doctors, they'll never say, you know what? Have you ever been to a chiropractor? Well, few and far in between will say, have you ever been to a chiropractor? Have you thought about going to a chiropractor? Because once we realize that the healing that our body is able to do is inside of us, and all we have to do is just release that interference, we no longer need to run for the prescription pill.
Yeah.
Because now our body's healing. We're recovering quicker from colds.
Yeah.
We're getting sick less. It's really, you're right, Amber, 100%. It's big pharma, and big pharma is a big is a big thing, and it's a way to keep you coming and keep you coming. Because when you get that prescription pill, how many refills are you going to get? Not realizing that the refills that you get are really lessening your life expectancy. You hear things on the TV about promotions about this pill for X. But then you take this pill for X and you're going to get A, B, C, D, E, F, G as side effects.
Yeah.
Then they'll put more pills on that for A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
I was going to say, then you compile the amount of pills that you're taking because now they're trying to treat the side effects.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's more of a let me treat from the outside what's going on the inside,
Yeah.
as opposed to a chiropractor saying, let me treat what's going on the outside by dealing with the inside first,
Yeah.
because this is the root. This
Yeah.
is where it starts. So
Yeah.
we can cut down those little branches from those trees with the prescriptions that we get, but they're just going to continue to grow and
Yeah.
bud off however they want to, or we can get down to the root of the issue, right? The root of it, and then remove it from there and
Yeah.
allow the body to be able to heal. Like, I know when my mom goes to get checked up, I think she's like 60 something years old. I ain't gonna put her out there like that.
Right.
But like, you not on any medication? They're like so surprised. Like, no. Then she's like, no. Yeah, because she gets adjusted regularly. And I make sure she gets adjusted regularly, because I'm
Yeah.
like, look, mom, you need to come in and get adjusted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know that it's helping her live a better life and a life of longevity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
And
yeah, it just
so we have to
yeah,
take a quick commercial break, but a few things to think about. You mentioned the arthritis. I love that
yeah,
you said that, because I think people think that there's certain things that are normal with age that don't have to be if you allow your body to properly function, right? So I
100%.
wanted to put that out there, and I want to talk about that after the break.
Yeah,
And then I also want to talk about a couple of things that I want to come back and just discuss. So you guys got to make sure that you stay tuned, because you do not want to miss this. I want to talk about also collaborating with doctors, right? And their
yeah,
patients to help them start to heal the body in order to
yeah,
remove the prescriptions if the doctors are open for that. And
yeah,
I'll leave that right there, right? But I
yeah,
want to talk about that too. Like, what does that look like? And do you have
yeah.
doctors that are open to collaborating with you for the benefit
Mhm.
of their patients? So we're going to take this quick break, and we're
Okay,
going to come back and discuss it.
sounds good.
All right. Hello, everyone, and we are back. So you saw that commercial. You want to make sure, and I'm going to share here the QR code for that event. If it's going to come up here, here we go. The QR code for that event. That is the Get Your Shit Together retreat at the Upaya Wellness Center, and that is in Los Cabos, Mexico. But that is happening on March 7th through the 12th. So if you are looking to transform your life, you want to go to this retreat, and it's in a beautiful place. So click the QR code and sign up. Get yourself registered today. All right. So we are back with Dr. Deja. And before the commercial break, we mentioned two things. One is the fact that age doesn't have to mean illness.
Amen.
Let's talk about that first, and then we'll get into the second one.
Yeah. I have so many patients. Now they're educated, right? And that's the biggest thing that I get them to realize is that just because you age
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you have to have pain. I literally have the oldest person that I've adjusted was 98. I
Mm,
currently have a 81-year-old wellness patient. And I
mm,
said wellness,
mhm.
like he's not coming in there because of pain.
Right,
He's
right,
coming in there. Actually, when he first started coming in there, he didn't have any ability on his right arm. Like
wow.
he was losing more and more strength. Like he would have to, I remember when he first came in, my goodness, and he had to sign the paperwork and he literally had to lift his hand up to put
Wow,
it on to the table where the paperwork was to sign it.
wow,
Now, not even a problem whatsoever. So
wow.
he came in from that and saw that he wasn't coming in for pain.
Mhm,
He was coming in because there was something going on. And I was seeing, his children and his daughter-in-law, and or his adult children and his daughter-in-law. And he had came in, just out of referral, had been going to a chiropractor,
mhm,
another chiropractor, right?
mhm,
But wasn't using the technique that I utilize to be able to get those specific analytical adjustments that we get that
mhm.
give the best benefits that we're seeing within the clinic, right? And so now he comes in, not a problem, moves his arm without a problem. He goes wave surfing.
Wow.
Something years old,
Yeah,
loving life, not in pain. Every
yeah,
day, I'm standing up taller. I'm standing
yeah.
up straighter. And it blesses my heart to be like, you know what, you get it, and this is what it's about because it's not about pain. It is
Yeah,
about a way of living, a quality of life that we're all called to have.
yeah. Mm,
And we think that, oh, I get older, oh, here comes the pain. Oh, they didn't tell me this was going to happen when I was 40. They didn't tell me this was going to happen when I was 50. I'm like, it doesn't have to happen. Oh, my mama had it, and her mama had it, and their mama had it. So hip pain and back pain run the family. Did any of them ever go to a chiropractor?
right, right.
You can't say it runs in the family if you never did something to address it.
Exactly.
But then we as chiropractors weren't there to really educate the patients as well too. So that's like where I stand. I just want to educate people. I
Yeah,
want them to be able to know that pain is not normal. You don't have to live a life with pain. It's not your portion. It's not what God has for you.
mhm.
And just to remind them because it's like we're sensitized. We're
Yeah,
desensitized to it.
I
You
love
know.
that. Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. And I think, when people say, my mom had it, my grandma had it, and they start to go back, it really is an indication of our habits. And, for the majority of things that we acquire that we see that our families had is because of our traditions and our
Yeah.
habits,
Yeah.
right? It's not based
Look.
on, what our body can do, right? So I just want to
100%.
say, absolutely. So I want to put up before we go on to the next
Yeah.
item that we mentioned here. I just wanted you to be able to
Yeah.
answer Philip's question.
Yeah. So what are some common issues that men face that can be fixed with chiropractic care? Okay, absolutely. So we have a few here. One of the ones that I'm noticing more is just dealing with the prostate, actually. Frequent urination because the prostate starts to grow, as people age, and it can put, pressure with on that, the bladder to be able to, allow that to happen. A decrease in sex drive.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of men like, hey, like, things aren't how they were before,
Yeah.
as I age, and a lot of times just be misalignment within that lower lumbar area and that sacrum area that supplies those organs to be able
Yeah.
to do the job that they were intended to do.
Yeah.
A lot of feet pain, plantar fasciitis, huge one. That's just a simple ankle adjustment. We get that talus, the middle of that bone within the ankle that allows you to go like that. We get that bone in place. That
Mhm.
takes away that pain from the bottom of the foot.
Wow.
A lot of extremity because men, they work with their arms, their hands, you know their shoulders, all that is constantly engaged. Most men we see have laborious jobs, so I
Mhm.
do a lot of shoulder blade pain, shoulder pain in general, elbow pain, wrist pain, a lot of extremities is what I find with a lot of men that come in.
Yeah.
And then also too, difficulty going to sleep, insomnia, or going to sleep and not able to stay asleep. And that has to go up with the upper area of the neck where the occiput is. That's right over the brainstem. And most of the time when there's pressure there, that can cause, someone that feels like they just can't sleep as good as they want to. And snoring, because I hear that men snore a lot from their partners.
Well, listen, the floodgates should open when it comes to your office, because that is so common.
Cutting them trees down, boy.
Yes.
All the wives on the phone are like, "Oh, we got to schedule Dr. Deja today." Amber's like, they do.
And Amber agrees. Amber agrees. And this is a husband and wife team here, so he's telling on his wife here.
I love it.
Oh, I love it. So just wanted to mention also, because we talked about the collaboration, and if it's not happening, right, more of it should definitely happen, where doctors are collaborating, practitioners, and I'll say, like internal medicine, family practice, and other specialties, right, should collaborate with chiropractors in order to think about holistic wellness for their patients. Have you seen that? Do you have some collaborations with doctors now for patients that you work with?
Not as much as I would like. Not as much as I would like. The most that I have seen is physical therapists a little bit. Mostly massage therapists, and we have one in the clinic as well too. So, and I love the fact that we have a massage therapist in the clinic, because you know who she is.
Me too.
And what she does, and but she literally comes out and she's like giving me the rundown. You don't know that she's like, oh yeah, I think the right rhomboid, I think there's a trigger point within there. I worked on the right SI joint. I know she's saying pain is coming from this side, but she said, the muscular aspect, I'm feeling it more on the other side. And there's been information and bits and pieces that she has given from me from those massages that allow my care to be even more specific. So I know that interdisciplinary, did I say that right?
Yes, disciplinary. Yes, you did.
Should be a thing, right? Because we're all looking at it from our perspective. And what happens if I look at it from my perspective, and the massage therapist looks at it from her perspective, and the nutritionist looks at it from their perspective, and the medical doctor looks at it from their perspective, the physical therapist looks at it from their perspective, and then we really can truly have whole health, right? Because health is not just one faceted, it's so multifaceted, right? You have your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. There's so many aspects of it. And that's why I called it actually a wellness center and not Pneuma Chiropractic, because my desire and goal is to have these other. I just talked to a nurse practitioner the other day, and she was like, you know what? I want to get out of the field. She said, I'm tired of being reactive. I want to be in a proactive place. So I was like, you know what? Let's see what we can do. I wanted to do IV therapy. I wanted to do all these things. And she's like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. And so I see how the Lord is setting things up to be able to make it a wellness center. I do dry needling, but I would love to have an actual acupuncturist within the office, because there's so many aspects that we can truly approach the patient to be able to give them the care that they really deserve. And I don't think that we're actually giving them the care they really deserve if we're on different pages and never communicating about the patient.
Absolutely. And I love that you tie in all of it. When you think about the emotional aspect, the spiritual aspect, the mental aspect that goes with it. I love that you tie them all in. And I just want to say this to people, right? When you think about we talked about energy earlier when I was talking about how I feel when I walk into your office. Well, when there's bad energy, right? It shows up, and it can show up emotionally, mentally, or physically, right? Or spiritually, for that matter. So when something else is off in your life, right, that is creating some mental stress or emotional stress or a spiritual stress, it can start to go into your physical body, because all of that encompasses the person. We are energy. We're spiritual beings first. I'm just going to put that out there, because we talk about
absolutely.
this show. We are
Yeah.
spiritual beings
Period.
first. Period. Period. Because without him, I am nothing.
Look,
So we talk about God on this show. But we are spiritual beings first. So when you think
yeah,
about the energy that it takes, right?
yeah,
If you think about it this way, if you're allowing in the Holy Spirit, right?
yeah, yeah.
It takes great energy to make a whole person, right? And I'm
Hmm.
speaking about it that way because I want to put it into those terms. But
Yeah,
if you align yourself on
yeah.
all facets, that's when you
Come
can
on,
truly live healthy, right?
come
So
on.
it all connects, it's all connected, and it all
It
starts to
is.
show up in different areas. So when
It
your
does.
physical body is ailing, you start to get emotional, or you start to get mental about it because you start to stress out about it, or the
Mhm,
opposite, and then it shows up in your body. If you are not
mhm.
aligned with God spiritually, and if you're not,
Come on.
come on now,
Look,
starts to
look.
resonate in your body. All of those things need to come together. And I love that Dr. Deja focuses on all of it. There was a day, right? And you'll probably remember this moment. There was a day where I was just down. I didn't say anything though, but she felt it. And she started speaking into me as she is correcting my back, right? So not only did I get some spiritual uplifting as I was in your office, I also got my body aligned, right? So those two things got corrected in one visit, right? So I just want you guys to understand like what you get when you go into Numa Wellness. And I'm specifically talking about Numa Wellness and not chiropractic care right now, only because Dr. Deja is sitting here and I am her patient. But I just want you to understand, for if you are not in the North Carolina area and you are somewhere outside of that, what you should look for in a
Mm.
chiropractor's office. I
Wow, wow,
want to
wow.
mention that. Yeah, because
That's
it's
good. That's
important.
good.
It's really important to have someone like Dr. Deja who understands how we are supposed to be aligned, that it is about the spine, but not
Mhm.
just about the spine, right?
Wow, wow. You
So,
know, I say all the time that I had one patient, she was like, you know what? You're not just a chiropractor. You're my chiropractor. You're my therapist. You're my pastor. You're my friend. And I said, you know what? To
yeah,
God be the glory, because Pneuma Wellness Center, the word pneuma actually means the spirit of God.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, I allow God to do what He needs to do in that moment with every patient that comes in, believer or not, because you said it. If you are not aligned spiritually, it's going to affect every other part of your body.
Mm-hmm.
It shows up, and
Mm-hmm.
we live in a world that is it's tough, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
It is tough out
Mm-hmm.
here,
And it's toxic.
and
I'm gonna say
it's
that.
toxic.
Yeah,
It is toxic.
yeah,
and
yeah.
and that's why I had the hope dealer on my wall, because one thing that you're gonna have when you come out of there is you're gonna have some hope.
That's right. That's right.
Because you need it, and you're gonna have peace. I have patients that after they get adjusted, they just want to sit in
Mhm,
the office because they
mhm.
don't want to leave. And I know it's because Holy Spirit is there, His
Yeah,
presence is there,
yeah,
healing is there, joy is there, and
yeah,
I'm okay with it. And I
yeah.
know when we get blessed with our next office, there's going to be areas where patients can lay down and just take a nap and just
Mhm,
rest, because
mhm.
why not?
Yeah,
Everybody needs nap. I'm pro nap.
yeah. Absolutely. So you heard Dr. Deja too. You can go in. She has a massage therapist there too, where you can go in and get a massage and then get aligned. So quickly before, because we do have to end the show. Unfortunately, it seems like the time always goes by so fast. But just quickly talk about how massage therapy. You did when you were explaining some of the items, but just talk about what that does for your patients before they actually get aligned.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so Cecia, our massage therapist, has probably been in the practice, I want to say, maybe 4 months, maybe five, maybe around there. And there's been patients that I haven't seen for like years, right? That are coming in with wellness. It's just same things. It's just always all right. You know, it's getting better, but it never stays. We gotta think about it, right? We are a musculoskeletal system, not just a skeletal system, not just bones alone, but there's also a muscle component with it. And when a bone gets out of place, it causes that muscle to tighten up, and that tighten up creates a memory within the muscle called muscle memory. This right here is the chiropractor's arch enemy and massage therapist's arch enemy. Because it wants to hold you. It wants to hold you how you are, but not how you are supposed to be. Okay? Now, what Cecilia goes in, she goes into that area and she releases those muscles. So when it comes time for the adjustment, oh, it's so much smoother. It's like a full reset, like truly a full reset. And I love even 30 minutes. This patient said, let's get 30 minutes, and that's enough. This patient, they want to be on the table for an hour, hour and a half. I want to be on that table for 2. She's amazing. She's amazing, and she's just awesome. But it makes the adjustment so much easier. It relaxes the patient, and it overcomes that muscle memory that we're fighting against to be able to create that new memory so your body can realize, oh, I need to stay there. So patients that have started getting care from her too are like, I had one patient, my dancer, she dances all over the place. She's been to Japan dance. She's like just beautiful, a blessing. And she all dances. They do a lot of hip movements and twirling of the legs, whatever, so have you. She got massaged, and then she got adjusted. And after I adjusted, she was like, I feel like I'm 12 years old again. She was like, I feel amazing. She's like, I feel like I can do anything right now. It was like no longer a thing. It wasn't like a recurring thing anymore because now we're releasing that muscle. So it goes hand in hand perfectly. And I'm so blessed to be able to have her in the office. Patients' care just go to another level.
Yes, I love it. And I'm so sad that we have to end this show. You're going to have to come back because there's so much that we can talk about here. So everybody out there, go look up Numa Wellness Center. Make sure that you connect with Dr. Deja's office. If you are here in North Carolina, in the Charlotte, Matthews, Pineville, Monroe, Huntersville, if you're in these areas, you want to make sure that you connect with Numa Wellness Center. Get yourself aligned, mind, body, and spirit. We're going to end the show here, and I hate that we have to. Dr. Deja, as always, has been an absolute pleasure to have you here, and you definitely have to come back because there's just so much richness in what you share. We love you, everybody out there. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be right here on The Whole Living Show. Take care.
Bye.